I don't want to take too much time. How much time do we have? What, half an hour?
Yeah, can you can do that? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I won't take too much of your time lah. But basically,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we wanted to just kind of like, so the basis of this session really was just to get your insight, right? Especially
Mm-hmm.
during the fasting month,
Mm-hmm.
from someone like yourself, Muslim. You are also very active in what you do,
Mm-hmm.
and also as a practitioner yourself, maybe like what do you normally tell your own clients as well. But
Mm-hmm.
really the heart and where we're coming from is just really like a collaborative kind of thing, where we're just trying to get your insights, because I wouldn't know what's going through. We have some of our patients that go through, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe some of these insights we will definitely be able to translate. But maybe before we
Mm-hmm.
go into that, maybe just want to just give time to you to just intro yourself, what you do, um, what's your background. I know you play some rugby as well. You know you were in
Yeah.
Cobra,
Uh-huh.
but maybe just tell us a little bit about that.
I see. All right. Okay. So before we start, just to introduce myself, I'm Youska Yusri. You can call me Youska, and I'm a physiotherapy by professions. Has been practicing 4 years, moving on to my fifth years already this year. And other than that, physical activities are heavily involved in rugby and strength training as well. And I've been playing rugby
Cool.
since I was young up until now. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. And what made you get into rugby?
What makes me get into rugby is, to be honest, it's because of my brother. Um,
Oh,
I
cool.
still, yeah, I still remember when I was still in Form One, which is I was 13 years old. I was really into
Yeah.
football actually. Then I was
Uh,
kind of like being forced my brother because he's a rugby player, and then he kind of like
okay.
told me that you know what, it's hard to get the place in the football team in the school. Why don't you
Yeah.
try rugby? And then it kind of like
Yeah.
he forced me to join, and from there like my interest to rugby started to develop, and
Cool.
ever since then I've been playing rugby. Yeah.
Nice. So which position do you play?
Currently now I'm playing in winger and fullback positions, either these two.
Nice. So the 15.
Yes, correct.
All right. The master behind everything, right? The strategist.
Yeah, it can be a chaos, man, if you're playing that positions.
So you play for the Cobras, the first team?
Correct. Yes,
I
I've been
see.
playing with them since 2018.
Nice, nice. And you
Yeah,
guys have just resumed training, right? From what I heard.
correct. Correct. Yeah. We just
Cool.
recently started like 2 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, cool. Maybe I should tell my touch rugby friends that, okay, we should get back on the park already, because yeah,
Yeah,
we
you
were so
should.
unsure. We were so unsure,
Mhm, mhm.
whether, and nobody has a spare 10,000 ringgit, lying in their pockets.
I know, right?
Okay, so thanks for that intro.
Mhm,
But okay, so you mentioned that so you do your rugby training, you do strength
mhm,
conditioning, right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
especially in
Yes.
this time of Ramadan, like,
Yeah.
has that kind of training changed since the fasting month, or
Uh-huh.
what do you do? What do you do to kind of like maintain the
Uh,
fitness?
okay. Yeah. I mean, like, it definitely changed in terms of the intensity and the durations of the training as well. Because, like during Ramadan,
Hmm.
we have to fast for 12 hours and more. So,
Yeah.
what I personally do on myself is that the intensity of my training definitely reduced, and the timing of
Okay.
my training as well. I've changed it as well. So what
Right.
I did, like for me, I didn't stop training, but I just limit
Hmm.
myself to like 2 to 3 times a week of training, which includes
Okay.
strength and field training as well.
Okay. So
Mhm.
before Ramadan, say like,
Mhm.
last week and the
Yeah.
2 months before,
Yeah.
what
Mhm.
would your normal sort of training week or block look like?
Okay, so before Ramadan, my training block, like in a weekly basis, it will looks like 2 weeks of strength and conditionings and another
Sure.
2 weeks, yeah, of field training. So it's
Okay.
gonna be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we have 4 days in a week to train. And moving
Okay.
on into Ramadan, I cut it short into 2 to 3 weeks. But I'll try my best to hit 3 times per week of training lah. So two days of strength and conditionings and 1 day of field training.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
and you mentioned earlier that you changed the timings in which you train as well, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
what do you wake up earlier? Do you work out just before breaking fast?
Okay. For me, what I do,
Mm,
I will train an hour before I break my fast. So I will train
okay,
like around 6 p.m. or even 6:30 p.m. just right before my breakfast time. And this
sure.
really depends from person to persons, I would say, because
Yeah.
it depending on their schedule as well. Like I've tried
Mm,
before to train in the morning, like
yeah.
around 7 a.m. I mean, like
Yeah.
even though you feel fresh, but
Yeah.
because of my working nature, I need to be physical, right?
Yeah.
I tend
Yeah.
to lose my energy throughout the day. So
Yeah.
I choose
Correct.
to train near the breakfast time, like around 6 or 6:30 p.m.
I
And my
see.
working out time as well, it doesn't take long. Max
Mm.
is only 1 hour.
Okay. So
Hmm.
so you
Hmm.
in it's very specific like when you do your workouts, it's like okay, cool.
Correct.
Yeah, I
Correct.
remember. I remember when I think there's a group that runs around in Publicaya, the
Hmm.
Kaiseran
Hmm.
group. I
Yes.
think
Uh-huh.
during the Ramadan period, they actually
Hmm. Hmm.
start running at about 3 or 4 a.m. and
Correct.
then they do
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, hats off to these guys, man. They like throughout
Yeah.
Ramadan they're doing this, and then
Yeah.
it's got work as well. It's
Hmm.
it's it's
Hmm.
crazy,
Hmm.
but it's cool.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay, cool. So if let's say I'm just a weekend warrior,
Hmm.
I'm not like someone as active like you do, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I work 9 to 5 kind of
Hmm.
thing, or
Hmm.
even longer.
Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
and I'm just a regular gym goer, but I want
Uh-huh.
to maintain fit, but I also don't want to
Uh-huh.
stop during Ramadan. Like
Uh-huh.
then,
Uh-huh.
what would you advise someone like that usually?
Okay, so now because of the situations that you're given, that person
Mm,
will be working like a 9 to 5 jobs, right? Like
yeah.
a normal 9 to 5 job. I would suggest them either to train right before the breakfast time or after
Yeah.
breakfast time. So it's because
Okay.
it's even easier for them, and I think the most optimal choice for them to work out is right
Mm,
after their breakfast, because that is the time where they replenish again all of their energies
mm,
from the food
mm,
that they ate, right? So
mm,
advisable for them to train after iftar or after breakfast. But I
mm.
understand, like most of the people, they want to focus their time on the prayers and whatnot. So
Yeah, correct.
maybe they can try on just right before iftar, like 6 or even 6:30 p.m. But it's not everyday kind of training. Maybe two
Yeah.
3 weeks with a break every other day. That would be a better options for them.
Cool, cool.
Mhm.
So I guess the exercise walking up and down the Ramadan bazaar is not counted,
You can count
right?
that as a side cardio, I guess.
Yeah, if I park my car further and then walk lah,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
That can consider as a
Okay.
cardio as well.
All right. Now moving on to my next question. Now, is there any
Mhm.
kind of like special rules or tips that you would kind of like strongly suggest, or maybe give people as a tip, right, to
Mhm.
make their training easier during especially
Mhm.
this fasting month, like whether
Mhm.
it's a food that you eat specifically. Like I know in general, when you break fast, the normal suggestion is to break fast with some dates, because that kind of helps to just give that
Correct.
sweetness and
Correct.
nutrition just
Correct.
before you get into the main
Yeah.
meal, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if let's say you are someone who's fairly active, now I'm talking about someone who like regular gym, goes to the gym, yeah, that kind of thing. Is there a specific kind of thing that you do's and don'ts, or?
I mean, like if we gonna talk about the food and everything, I'm not really like a right person to ask because I'm not a
Yeah.
nutritionist. But I can
Okay.
just kind of
Yeah.
like share some tips on what I personally do on
Yeah.
my own self.
Yeah.
Like moving towards Ramadan, what I usually do 2 to 3 weeks before Ramadan, I usually cut down my meal intake just to kind of like to prep
Right.
myself like easing off going through that
Sure.
that
Sure.
Ramadan month. And if
Yeah.
you are someone that drink a lot of coffee, like for example, like for me, I drink a lot of coffee. So what I will do 2 3 weeks before the Ramadan, I will definitely reduce my caffeine intake, and
Sure.
maybe like a week or maybe a few days before the Ramadan, I will be completely off from caffeine because you don't want during the
Wow.
Ramadan when you wake up in the morning, you have that
Yeah.
urge
You
to
feel that.
drink coffee
Yeah.
because you want to function, right? Because
Yeah.
that's me before
Yeah.
Ramadan. That's the
Yeah.
first thing that I'll do, right?
Yeah.
So I usually
Okay.
cut down my caffeine, I cut down my meal intake, and I slowly goes into that lower calorie intakes in a way so that my
Yeah.
body can respond well during the Ramadan. And during the Ramadan itself, I think the food choices is really important. Like for me, what I usually do during sahur in the morning when I eat, usually I eat high protein and
Okay.
maybe like 20% carbs, and then I focus more on fibers or fruits that are what to
Gives you
call that.
that long the what they
Correct.
call it,
Yeah.
the slow releasing energy,
Correct. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And foods that gonna give you a lot of like hydrations in a way. Like you can choose berries or even a watermelon, cucumbers, because
Mm.
this is some of the things that I heard from a advice from a nutritionist. They told
Yeah.
people to eat their water. So basically, this is what they mean. Like choose
Yeah.
fruit that high in hydration, so that
Yeah.
you don't need to drink a lot of water. Then you're gonna be full with
Yes.
water. Then you can't really eat as much.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then during your breakfast as well,
Mm.
try to opt for a food that are high in sugars, it, like fruits as well, a natural
Mm.
sugars, I would say. Like you can go
Okay.
for dates or even a
Yeah.
bananas, melons. I mean,
Okay.
just to get that
Yeah.
quick replenish of
It
energy.
should. Yeah.
Then correct, then only you're gonna move on into a main meal. Like for me, during breakfast, that is the time where I'm
Mm.
gonna go quite high on the carbs intake if you're gonna compare to my sahur.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then that together with your training, you kind of
Mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
just also then just slowly ease into the weights, or whether it's cardio. Do you do cardio during your during the Ramadan period? Because I know that it can be quite
Mm-hmm.
intense.
Yes, correct. Personally, for me, I don't do cardio.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether my field training is considered as cardio or not, but
Mm.
my field training usually during Ramadan is just involve a lot of like technical training on the field, not so much of
Yeah. Passing,
high intensity
kicking.
training. Yeah, correct. So
Okay.
personally, for me, I don't choose to go for a high endurance type of training unless
Mm.
if that person is a runner. That's a completely different stories. But
It's a
if
different
it
thing. Yeah.
yeah, if it's someone that just go to the gym regularly and whatnot, I
Yeah.
think a cardio they can just put it at the side and focus more on the gym sessions.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Cool, cool. Thanks for that. I think that's so insightful to hear. I mean, from what you mentioned here, right? Having to
Yeah,
plan 2 3 weeks in advance, and
correct.
then
Yeah,
during Ramadan, it takes
yeah.
it. It sounds like for someone like you, it actually takes a lot of pre-thinking,
Correct. Yeah.
strategizing, and also
Yes. Yes.
like during and
Yeah.
even you're saying like during Ramadan,
Yeah.
you're focusing on specific kind of foods, and then even
Correct.
when you break fast, it's also a
Yeah.
specific kind. I think that's fantastic. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think that those are some fantastic tips that I think anyone watching this would really kind of take some nuggets. I think we can always hold off some of those fatty fried kind of like
Correct.
the staple at the Ramadan bazaars, right? And then
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
really take this time also to just really also kind of to focus on the body as well, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I think because during
Okay.
Ramadan, people tend to kind of like binge eat a lot. You get, I mean, because
Yeah.
they've been hungry for like a long period of time, right? And when they
I
went to
know.
bazaar, they see everything, they
I
just
know.
buy it, and at
Yeah,
the end of the
exactly.
day, they couldn't even finish the food, right? So I
Yeah.
think this month is all about really trying to test your patience
Yeah.
or your hunger. You get, I mean.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember one of my ex-colleagues, and
Uh-huh.
this was before I was in Spinefit, but I remember
Mhm.
when we were just talking, and then he was saying that, it's funny because during Ramadan, it's the month where he puts on weight, and we were like, how is that possible? It's supposed to be a month of fasting, but then you're
Yeah,
putting on, say,
yeah.
yeah lah, it's like, it's a self-control lah, right? It's like when they break fast, you whack, before
That's true.
fasting, they whack in the morning. I said, well, I guess that's probably why.
Yeah, that's true though.
Okay, cool. Okay, I guess maybe the next question that I have for you, it's like, do you kind of recommend people from taking a different approach in terms of during the fasting month? What I mean by that is like, would you suggest that to take a months long break? I know, okay, so this one thing which I really admire of the Muslim brothers and sisters, right, is that there are some businesses where they can literally close for the entire Ramadan month because it's
Mhm,
really holy for them. And I really admire them for that, because it's like,
mhm,
this is a time where they kind of like, no, this is really a time where they really focus on self, and also focus on everything that surrounds what
mhm,
Ramadan means.
mhm,
And they're
mhm,
not gonna say, they're not gonna put business first or anything. And if it
mhm,
means shorter working hours or even close for an entire month, that's something that they will go with, right?
mhm, mhm, mhm.
So if we would take that kind of a look towards like health, and even their kind of training, and that, would you say that, I know it's different for individual to individual,
Mhm.
but would it be detrimental to someone who says, okay, I'm going to take a month-long break from exercise, from fasting, sorry, from exercise while I'm fasting, and is it actually a good thing or bad thing? I know it's kind of like it varies from person to person, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess, you know yeah, if
Mhm,
there's
mhm.
someone who is fairly active lah, like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think personally for me, I
Mm,
don't think that we should use Ramadan as an excuse for us to kind of like to stop
mm,
our physical
mm,
activities because, yeah, I mean like I don't see any valid point for people to stop being physically active just because of the Ramadan month. What they can do is
yeah,
actually playing around with their scheduling and how
yeah,
they kind of like really kind of like prepare
mm,
themselves towards that Ramadan and knowing when and where to work out and what are the foods they should be taking off because
yeah,
if we are talking about someone that are fairly active, right, and if they
mm,
were to take that 1 month break and
mm,
like a lot of research paper shows that within 3 weeks that person will lose their strength and
yeah, yeah,
for us to kind of like to get back on track after that 1 month
mm,
plus if
yeah,
you're going to take a look at it, it's not only going to be 1 month of Ramadan. After Ramadan there will
mm,
be Raya. Usually
yeah,
people
and
gonna
it's just
take
whack.
like exactly like a
Yeah,
week of just
yeah,
eating whatever they want,
yes,
and they need
yes,
maybe like another week to recover from that
yeah.
food coma. All right, so
That's true.
So give and take, they're gonna take like around 6 to 7 weeks of resting from physical activities, and for them to
Yeah.
get back on track or get back on routine,
Mm.
it's gonna be take a while for them. So for me, I would suggest them not to stop, but really play around on their schedule. I mean, like if they can't train in the morning, they can always train after their breakfast. And the training,
Right.
it does not necessary to be as intense as before. Like it
Right.
should be like enough for you to feel tired in a way,
Mm.
or really just to get moving in a way, rather than
Yeah.
just straightway stop for a month.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm,
that's fantastic. Yeah, I
mhm.
guess I mean, you're right in saying that there are a lot of people do take the most extremes, right?
Correct.
And I
Yeah.
guess, it's like ready they stop. And like what you
Mhm,
said earlier, it's sometimes
mhm.
it's also about being intentional. You know that Ramadan is coming up, you
Yeah.
take that 2 3 weeks to kind of like taper off, and then you,
Correct.
you change up a little bit of your training. And then,
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm,
I think that's fantastic. That's awesome. Hey,
mhm.
thanks so much for sharing.
Yeah. Thanks for
And
having me, though.
yeah, no worries. I think yeah, we just wanted to keep it, short and sweet,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
yeah, I think that's fantastic. So, thanks so much for your time. I'm going to
mhm.
stop the recording soon, and then we can just talk after
All right.
this.